Hello and welcome to episode 85 of my podcast all about knitting and crochet and my yarn shop here in Wiesbaden, Germany. I'm Kiko and today is February 22nd, 2021. Today I'm wearing again something old and something new. Again, the old thing is the cowl I'm wearing. The pattern is Strider. It's called the Strider Cowl by Susan Pandorf. And it was part of a Lord of the Rings pattern collection. And I knit it such a long time ago that I don't have a Ravelry page for it because back then I wasn't using Ravelry yet, or not using it as much as I'm doing it today. I really like the pattern. I've always wanted to make another one. As soon as I do that, I will have a project page, and maybe I'll show that one as well. Just because it's the same pattern. It's a sock yarn with alpaca in it. I picked it up in a yarn shop I've never been to before and since. But I like it a lot. It's quite dark, so sometimes hard to see the pattern, but I think the way the light is shining on it right now, it's really good. It's easy to see. It's a mix of lace and cables. And I like it, and because it's such a neutral color, I tend to wear it a lot if I just need a little bit of warmth around my neck. So that's the Strider Cowl. Very nice pattern. And of course I'm wearing my flax pullover. I showed it as my finished object last week, one of them, and today I'm wearing it. You can just see the split hem without me having to get up on my chair. I'm quite happy. I'm quite happy with the way they overlap here. I'm happy with the length. The only thing is I'm not too happy with those straight lines and the so this bit. So these lines are really straight, and it's this kind of corner that I have there. I don't think it's too bad, but it's because I knit the Calibrate sweater some time ago, and it has a split hem, but it's beautifully rounded. And I think the next time I want to do a hem like this, I will go back to that pattern and I will do the hem the way it's described there. And I've wanted to knit another Calibrate sweater anyway, so maybe this year I'll get around to doing that. It's a fantastic pattern to get a pullover that perfectly fits your body with the measurements that you put into the pattern, and then you get your own set of numbers. Check it out if you haven't seen it yet. So the flax pullover pattern by Tin Can Knits, it's a free pattern. I changed quite a few things, like I changed the ribbing from knit 1 purl 1 to knit 2 purl 2. This is supposed to be a garter stitch band, and I just continued the ribbing, and there's not supposed to be any pattern down here, but the rest is as per pattern. I included the short rows that are a new addition to the flax pullover. You can see the way the colors come out here. You can see that's where I put the short rows in, and short rows just means that the front now sits a bit lower than the back, and I like that, especially as I don't like the neckline to be too open. So I think if the front and back are the same, you should knit the neck opening a bit wider so it doesn't sit too high in the front and it doesn't choke you. But I like it to be a bit narrower, and that's why I prefer to have short rows raise the back a little. And I'm really happy with how it worked out with this pullover, and I've been wearing it quite a bit. So this is the second pullover, the second flax pullover I have knit with glitter yarn by Opal, but the first one was a flax light, so I used just a single thread of yarn of the glitter yarn, and with this one I held it double, so I got the gauge for the flax pullover without the light bit. And Opal doesn't make glitter yarn in worsted weight, so if you want a heavier weight with the glitter, you have to hold the yarn double. So that's what I'm wearing today, and I'm very happy with it. I was thinking of wearing my hat today, but actually today it's not that cold in my shop, but it's the glitter spiral hat that I knit, which is a bit like the glitter spiral Christmas ornaments that I designed, I think not last year, but the year before. And I use the same yarn as my pullover, so now I can wear those two together if I get cold. But as I said, right now it's not that cold. So that's what I'm wearing today. On to finished objects. I have one finished object, and only just, it's not 100%. It's like 98% finished, but I'll show it to you as my finished object of the week because I won't show it again next week. It's the second pair of cat socks, and the reason they're not 100% finished is the cat face is missing from this sock. So I only realized I didn't have a finished object for this week, I think on Saturday. And I also realized that I want to give these socks away this week. And so if I didn't show them today as a finished object, I would give them as a present and then say, can I have them back to show on the podcast? So I didn't want to do that. And I thought if I finish one cat, that gives you an idea what they're going to look like. And if you need proof that I finished the second cat face, you can check out the pictures on my Ravelry page and you'll see the other cat face as soon as I've stitched it on. This is what the first cat face looks. I'm not very good at stitching, at embroidery, so the whiskers are quite different. But I guess cats are not the same on both sides, so I didn't mind too much. Yeah, but the socks themselves are done, and this is opal yarn out of the Jazz series, so I thought that was a perfect yarn for my musician nephew. And then black opal yarn, and yeah, and I used another neon color for the eyes. The first pair of cat socks had green eyes. Now these have yellow eyes, and I'll use a different color, I think, for every pair of cat socks that I knit. Yeah, so that's the finished object for today. And as I said, I'll give them away this week and I won't show them again. On to works in progress, and I have 2 pairs of socks in progress and 1 pair of mittens. But I'll start with the test knit I've been doing for a while now, and I got in touch with the designer last night, and she said it was okay to show the pattern on screen today, even though the pattern will only be published, I think, this week Saturday. So the pattern name translates as a little bit structured, not structured. Yeah, but it implies that it has a bit of a knit purl pattern. I'm not quite sure how to say that in English, but this is what the sock looks like. It's a opal subscription yarn. This is what the yarn looks like. And last week I showed you the sole of the sock where you can just see the yarn but not the pattern. But this is what the pattern looks like. I think it's a really nice pattern. It's not very complicated, so after 1 or 2 repeats you can knit it by heart. It has this, I think Eye of Partridge heel is the English term, and you have the decreases here and is it a rounded toe? I don't know, but yeah, it's a fairly classic toe. These decreases are done a little bit different than I usually do them, but I knit everything as per pattern, as this is a test knit. Yeah, and I started the second sock, didn't get very far, but I got permission from the designer to take my time with the second pair, so I don't have to rush it. 1 sock is actually enough for the test knit, and I think there weren't many problems in the pattern to start with, and the few little issues have been taken care of. And as soon as the pattern is published on Saturday, I will link to the pattern on my Ravelry page. And I'm not sure whether she publishes her patterns in German and English. The test was only for the German pattern, but I think I'll ask her whether she translates her patterns or not. And if she wants me to look at the English translation, I could do that. But yeah, I don't know. If it's just in German, maybe you could try to knit a German pattern. I think if you put things into Google Translator, it should be possible. I think lots of Germans knit from English patterns that way, so maybe that will work for you. So that's the first pair of socks I'm knitting. And then the second pair of socks, I was hinting last week that there might be more socks in my future. And the reason is that I signed up for Sockmadness. I signed up not this last weekend, but the weekend before, but I didn't get an answer until Monday night, which is why I didn't talk about it last week on my podcast. But I signed up for the Sockmadness and I was accepted. And if you don't know what Sockmadness is, you can check it out on Ravelry. There's all the information there. But basically, it's a competition where we knit socks, and it's sort of organized like a sporting event in that you have to sign up, and then there's the so sign-ups are in February, and then March, the first pattern that we're given is to qualify. It's the qualifying round. So everybody who wants to participate has to knit the pattern the way it is written. We're not supposed to change anything. And you have to send, or you have to show proof in pictures that you've knit the socks the way they're written in the size they were, that you have to knit. And if you qualify, you're put into a team. And then with the next patterns, we play against each other within a team, and so you have to be fast to get to the next round, and the fastest, I don't know how many, will get to the next round, and then every round there will be fewer members in a team, and then the second to last round, only one member of every team can go on, and then the last round, all the bests of every team play against each other. Sounds really crazy. I have no idea how it's going. I don't know if I will end up showing you one pair of socks that I finished and nothing else because I was knitting Sockmadness socks. I don't know. But during February, during the sign-ups, there are several patterns that we can knit as warm-ups. They're not part of the competition, so we don't have to knit them exactly. They're written. We can change things. We can knit our own size if we want to, which is not allowed in the Sockmadness unless you have big feet, because you have to knit a minimum of what they say in the pattern. I think you can make them bigger if you want to, because that just takes more time and not less time, but you're not allowed to make them smaller. And as my feet are fairly small, I don't think any of the patterns in the competition itself will fit me. But what I can do is I can change them afterwards. So I can undo the toe and make them shorter so they fit me. But I guess I will probably give most of the socks away to people I know with bigger feet. And I will probably also donate several socks, as I like to knit for this organization in Germany who gives socks to women with ovarian cancer. So I guess any of the socks that I will knit with green yarn will go to that organization. And with the other socks, I will see what I'll do. But anyway, as I said, there are several patterns that we can knit as a warm-up, and I missed the first pattern. The first warm-up pattern were 2 pairs of shorty socks, but whenever the next warm-up pattern is released, the link for the other warm-up patterns disappears, so you can only download the one that's available at the moment, and you're supposed to be part of the Sockmadness to do that. So this is the second warm-up pattern of this year, and it's called Cochineal, I think. It's what you use to dye red color, and so we don't have to hurry with these socks. The link for these has now disappeared because the third pattern was released, and that's a pattern with a 2-color overall pattern that I will not start knitting right now. I may knit it later on, but I decided not to start any new socks before the madness starts So I have most of my sock needles available to knit whatever comes first. But as I said, this is the first pattern of the first pattern that I am knitting as part of the Sockmadness warm-ups. The original pattern has a red color here and then some other color in the middle. I have been wanting to knit with the Black Dragon yarn by Opal for quite some time. And at first I planned to knit the red color because that would have gone with the pattern. But I found it really difficult to find a contrasting color that goes with it. So in the end, I decided to use the yellow with the red, and I started to knit the yellow cuff. And while I was knitting it, I was watching a podcast video by Sweet Georgia, and Felicia talked about the fact that the colors of this year are yellow and gray. And it's not a combination I've knit before, I think. It's not something that I'm naturally drawn to, but I thought the idea sounded interesting. So I got the gray Black Dragon yarn and held it with the yellow, and I really liked it. So I am knitting the colors of the year 2021. I've never done that consciously before, so that's quite interesting. So the Black Dragon is a new series by Opal that came out, I think, in December. And all the colors in this series have a black yarn running through it, but the black yarn sort of gets thinner and thicker in places. And also the other color, which in this instance is gray, goes from light to dark. So it's light gray to dark gray, and then it has this black yarn running through, which gives it a really nice, interesting color change, and it's not really a different texture, but it does feel a little different. And I really enjoyed knitting with it. For the first color work part, I had the dark gray, which looked really nice. Down here, it's the light gray, which gives it a completely different look. I think I prefer this bit, but it's okay. I don't mind. And this is all I have of the second sock. Not too much. Oh, by the way, the second sock will be a little different from the first one because there's a mistake in the pattern. So the knit stitch that I knit here is supposed to be knit through the back loop. But I didn't read the errata in time, so I knit it this way. But with the heel, it's this funny heel construction, you have knit through the back loop stitches. So that's what I'm going to do with the second cuff. It'll be different, I don't mind. But then this sock will be exactly the way it's supposed to be. Yeah, so the yellow is just a standard yellow by Opal, and this is my warm-up pattern for the Sockmadness. Very excited about that. Okay, so that's the socks I'm knitting at the moment. As I said, I won't cast on any new socks this week because I'll wait. And then next week, the Sockmadness will start. Really excited about that. But I have started knitting a pair of mittens. And that's from the book Alternate Rebellion that I showed you last week. Didn't bring the book today, but I picked another new yarn by Opal. It's this yarn. It's called Beauty, and it has some extract of a plant. The German word is Edelweiss. Not quite sure what the flower is called in English. I should have checked, I forgot. So this is the flower, and they got some extract out of that flower that's part of this yarn now. It's supposed to be nice to your hands while you knit and also nice to your skin while you wear it. And the effect is supposed to last through several cycles in the washing machine. So maybe I'll even wash this by hand to make it last even longer. I'm pairing it with this bright yellow by Opal, and I am knitting mittens, as I said, and the all the patterns in the Alternate Rebellion are color work patterns. So I picked the giraffes. So these are giraffe legs. These are the bodies of the giraffes. This is the tail, and then next comes the really long neck. And this, let me show you. Oops. This is the thumb gusset that I've started there, and yeah, so that's quite a fun knit. Hopefully the Giraffes will be finished by next week. We'll see. I like the green because it's not as colorful as most of the opal colors, and there were two colors in this series, the green and the blue, that are sort of not very colorful, and then the other four colors have lots of different colors, so they don't really work well for color work. But I thought the green looks a bit like a meadow or like plants in some form, so it goes with the giraffes. And the other glove will have elephants. So and I will probably have a second pattern as well, definitely with the elephants, because the elephants aren't that high. With the giraffes, it's a really long pattern. I'll have to see if I can fit another pattern on top. And I'm not quite decided yet whether this will be proper mittens that go all the way up, or whether I'll just put some ribbing and let the fingers show. I don't know yet. So we'll see. Oh, by the way, last week I was still thinking about doing this as a double knit project so that I could turn them inside out. I started doing the cuff as a double knit project and it got way too big, even though I used smaller needles, but it was quite difficult to work and I didn't like the look of it. And so I just decided I'll just knit them the way they're written in the pattern, and they're not double knit, and I just have the floats here. I do catch my floats if it's more than 5 stitches, but up to 5 stitches I don't mind, and I don't think it'll be a problem when I put them on or take them off. So yep, these are my giraffe mittens. So that's it for the small projects. Then on to, usually I show my shawls now. I only crocheted on my virus shawl last week. I didn't get to do the other shawl, which is a test knit, so I should have knit on it. I'm really sorry about that, and I'll try and make it a priority this week. And also with my virus shawl, the rows are getting really long, and I did not finish last week's pattern repeat. So I crocheted 3 of the rows, and I'm still missing the last row of that pattern repeat. So I'll see how much I'll get done this week. I'm not really in a hurry with this shawl. The weather still needs to get even better for me to wear this, and I just enjoy the process. And so this is really a process project that I enjoy doing every now and then. Yep, still like it. I'll probably show it to you a few more times. Then I'll show you my skirt, and I actually started the color work on this one. So I have 3 color work projects on the needle at the moment, which is quite fun. So I am using another subscription yarn, Opal Abo yarn, combined with just a white yarn, and this is the skirt, this is the waistband, and this is the color work I put in. It looks a bit crazy being bunched up on the needle like this, but if I pull it out, you can just see the beginning of the pattern. It's going to be like a huge big snowflake, and I have decided that I'm trying to learn something new with this skirt. Normally when I knit color work, I have both yarns on the same hand. So I will just separate them like this on my index finger, and then I will knit either this yarn or that yarn. But because I have so many stitches on this skirt, and just because I felt like it, I have decided to try and knit like this for this skirt. And that's what I've done. I've knit the blue yarn with the yarn here, and then with the white yarn I practice the throwing. That's what I'm not used to, so this is kind of what's new. I've done it before. I've done it on projects where I had 3 colors. I would hold 2 colors on my left hand and then the 3rd color in my right hand. So I've done it before. I know how it works, but I'm fairly slow with it, and I wanted just to get some practice. And but with the little projects and the little needles, it's enough hassle the way it is, and especially with the socks, and especially with the Sockmadness, I will have to use the technique that works fastest. But I thought with the skirt, I'm not in a hurry. I have long rows. I repeat the pattern 13 times, so I don't have to look into the book too much. And once I've memorized the pattern, I can just repeat it, and then I can practice using both hands. And I think once I get the hang of it, it might be quicker than having the yarn in both yarns in one hand. But even if it's not quicker, it's different, and I like things to get changed up, and I think it's also good for my hands to work in a different way to maybe minimize the pain I always have. Maybe I'll get different sort of pain, but even that will be a good change, I think. Anyway, so that's the skirt. I'll try and add a row every now and then. We'll see how that goes. I don't even know what's going on. Well, this week I'll try and work on every project. Then from March on, I won't make any promises. What with the Sockmadness. Yeah, I continued knitting on my mohair pullover out of the Geek knits book. It's doesn't look a lot different. It's just grown a bit lengthwise. I've done 2 more increase rounds. Love the way it looks. It's a really simple project for my compared to the other things that I'm knitting, but I do enjoy a mindless knit every now and then, and I'm really looking forward to having this pullover. It's so soft. This is the Silk Hair by Lana Grossa, and it's another Silk Hair. What was it? I think I wrote it down the other week. Maybe I didn't. Anyway, should be on my Ravelry page. Yeah, at the moment it looks like both yarns will... No, they shouldn't end at the same time, because I think this wasn't a full ball of yarn. I don't know. Anyway, I just enjoy the jumper, and I'm looking forward to finishing the yoke so I can split off the arms and it'll start looking like a pullover. Okay, on to the blankets. I have actually knit a little bit on the dinosaur blanket. Last week I showed you the beginning of the second dinosaur head, and I finished it. And I then also did another one. Yay! So now I have 3 of the dinosaur hats. That was the first one. And then second and third, I'm really happy. But it's a lot of work. And I realized this morning that I forgot to do these eyebrows. So I don't know if I will add them or if I'll just leave them without and try and remember it with the next ones. But anyway, so 3 out of 12 are done. And the crocheting is not too bad. It's really those little bits and pieces, and especially sewing them on, that seems to take forever, but it is possible. I also have 2 of those triangles, and I have 1 of those squares. I will try and concentrate on the dinosaur heads, because that's what takes up most of the time. Once they're done, these won't take too long. Maybe I'll crochet one of these every now and then in between if I want to crochet something without thinking too much. But yeah, things are getting there. I'm really happy about that. Okay, so that's the dinosaur blanket. And then on to our knit along, the Optic blanket. And I have added another square. Let me think. This one. This is the square I knit last week. These are the other 2. And now that I've done 3 in that direction, I will add another square either here or there, and then add another 3 and another 3. And once I have a square out of 9 squares, I will start the next piece. And I'll keep doing that, and then in the end I will sew them together. So that's that. By the way, that's Opal Rainforest color. Beautiful. It's the rainforest colors are always available as a 4-ply or as a 6-ply yarn, so either sock weight or DK weight. For this blanket I'm using the DK weight yarn, but yeah, the rainforest always has really nice colors, and for every ball of yarn that they sell, they donate €1 to help keep the rainforest intact, which is great. Okay, that's everything that I knit and crocheted on last week. But there's one more thing I want to show you today, because I will at some point put some work into that project, and I thought it'd be quite interesting to see what it looked like now and what it looks like once I finished. And that's a swirl jacket. I don't know if you know the book Knit Swirl. It's a beautiful book. I love the patterns in there. And I have knit 2 swirl jackets. At some point I will have to wear them again on the podcast. I've shown both of them in the podcast. But my sister has also knit a swirl jacket. And the one that she knit is this one. But she knit it with 2 colors, sort of like this one. So I think, if I remember correctly, she kind of mixed those 2 patterns. And then as soon as she finished the jacket, she gave it away to our cousin. And she gave it back to me yesterday, and I'll show you why. So this is the jacket. It's huge. It's absolutely beautiful. It has this beautiful hem and the shawl collar and fairly long sleeves. And our cousin just loves the jacket, and she says she wore it every day for I don't know how long. And this is what the sleeves look like now. So this is what a really well-loved knitted garment can look like if you just keep wearing it. So I have no idea how long ago the first hole appeared, but it's now at a stage where she says she doesn't want to wear it anymore, so it doesn't unravel even more. And after looking at these holes, I said, okay, I'm not going to fix this. I'm not going to repair it. What I'm going to do is I will try and secure things somehow around here. I will cut this off, and the same here, and I will knit a new cuff so the sleeves are still long enough. So that's the plan, and I just thought it'd be fun to see what this looks like now, and then hopefully what I can make of it once it's done. There's another little hole somewhere on the edge, but here we go. So yeah, this I will just repair normally without cutting anything off. Yeah, but that's just something I wanted to show you. So my sister's really generous. She knit this huge big thing, and then she just gave it away. And she's been planning to knit another swirl jacket with me for ages, and I just kept not being interested. But I think now we really need to get down to it and knit ourselves another swirl jacket, because they're just fantastic. Okay, but that was it for today. I hope you enjoyed this episode of my podcast, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!